Hello guys, it's Justice. I have wild hair today. First of all, my chair's loud again, I'm sorry. I'm actually not excited about filming this video. I have been putting it off for months and months because it's really emotional for me and really personal and really hard to talk about. But I think it's really important for me to talk about it. So this video is going to be me reacting to some video clips from my endometriosis pre-surgery and surgery process. I'm going to do other videos where I talk more about endometriosis. But today is just going to be my experience. I want to preface this video with saying that some of this stuff is hard to watch, but yet it still doesn't fully capture like how horrible this time was, because during the darkest times of my recovery process I didn't want to film because it was in such a dark place. And it was really hard. I pretty much only have like some beginning stuff on film when I was actually in the hospital. The other thing is that I don't want you to watch this if you have endo or if you suspect that you have endo and be scared out of doing something about it. This whole experience that I went through was better and more worth it to me than living my whole life the way that I was before, with pain every single day. I only attended 70% of my classes at least the last 2 or 3 quarters of college, and I still got most of my stuff done on time. After all of this, I'm now in remission, which is amazing. I have a couple of different autoimmune diseases that, what the heck is happening? But I still have an amazing life and I feel so good. I started working out again. Yeah, so this is gonna be interesting to watch these videos. A lot of you didn't know how bad things were until I told you afterwards. And I think some people like still didn't get it. I think most people still didn't get it. And I have nothing against you if you don't get it. It's like something that you cannot really fully get unless you were the person there in the situation. But I wanted this video to also help with that, like especially if you have endo and you're trying to express what you're going through to your friends or your spouse or your parents, whoever it is. I wanted to share my experience, even though it's really hard for me to talk about it and it's very personal and it's very different for each person. But anyways, I've talked now for a long time giving you a preface about this, so let's get into the first clip.
Oh, she's just taking a picture of herself.
That's a video, man. I don't look good in motion.
That night with my friends was the last time that I hung out with people before my surgery, and that was right before I found out that I had a cyst on my ovary. Like, even this stuff is hard for me to talk about because I feel like people are grossed out, and the last thing that I want is people to be grossed out by me. Always hated that, so this is hard for me to share this. The cyst on my ovary was the size of like a small melon, or like it was like bigger than a grapefruit. It was like right before I found that out, and I was really not feeling good, but I really wanted to see people, so my friends came over and played a game with me. I was not excited. I was really nervous about the surgery, but I had no idea what was coming for me. It's probably better that I didn't know. I thought that it was gonna be a lot more like matter of fact for me emotionally, and that is not how it went. So we're on our way to pre-op appointments for the next couple of hours. I didn't sleep very good last night because I think I'm having an allergic reaction to something. Wait, that's probably why my face was swollen. Basically, the pre-op went great. I should throw up a picture of me and Dr. Cook right here. He's amazing. That was a doctor's appointment that I didn't ever think that I would have. I was asking if I should freeze my eggs and what I should do to help make sure that I can have kids someday. Just sitting there having that conversation as a single person with my mom was really difficult. It was really hard to have that conversation and think, wow, this is like not where I thought I was gonna be at 24 years old. Just there's sometimes that you have these moments where you're like, wow, I was not prepared for this. And that doctor's appointment was one of those times. But I have to say, that doctor's appointment was also extremely encouraging because Dr. Cook was, I mean, the sweetest, most humble doctor ever. He even got down on the floor with me to help me fill out my paperwork. I mean, he was like on the floor, and he's not like super young, so.
I'm gonna show you guys what I think of the first taste.
Oh, this was the worst.
Oh Lord.
That was the worst. At this point, my dad had arrived in San Jose, and I had to do a prep for surgery. And if you've ever had a colonoscopy or a surgery, an abdominal surgery, then you've done this before. This was probably what I was most concerned about, and it felt like so humiliating to me. But basically, you have to take 2 strong laxatives, and then 2 hours later, you have to drink an entire bottle of magnesium citrate. It makes you nauseous, out of your mind, and then your insides are cleansed. We'll just put it that way. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, to be honest with you, because I was like so embarrassed beforehand. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so humiliating. But it was really emotional at the time. Yeah, I did not like that. I'm gonna take a moment to explain something about endo really fast. Endometriosis is when the cells that should only line your uterus, they for some reason grow in other places in your abdomen. Estrogen causes those cells to do bad endometriosis things. It's like having open wounds on the inside all the time. And then it can form cysts and things like that. It is the leading cause of infertility in women. I had this tissue all over my diaphragm, on my liver, in my hip socket, all into my pelvic floor, my abdominal walls. I had an entire portion of my intestines that had to be removed because it was covering them so badly. It was on my bladder, on my uterus. I had it like literally everywhere inside of me. It was a really intense surgery. They thought it was gonna be 3 hours, and then it ended up being 7.
So I've been out of surgery for, what time is it? I think 3 hours.
I was feeling really good here because
my surgery was estimated to take about 3 hours, but it ended up taking 7.
I had a nerve block
because
in.
it was so
This was probably the best that I felt
invasive,
the whole recovery.
all the endo tissue, and they got rid of my cyst, they got rid of my appendix.
Okay, pause real quick. The reason my voice was so raspy is because when you get surgery, they intubate you and the tube kind of dries out your throat, so.
And they also did a bowel resectioning, which sucks because I can't eat anything except for this cough drop. So this is my dinner.
I was living on cough drops because my throat hurts so bad.
They're having me breathe with this thing, which is way harder than it looks, to help keep my lungs strong because I'm on morphine. Got me this teddy bear. So cute. I always wanted to get a teddy bear, big teddy bear. Now I got it. And mom's kind of sitting here with me, taking care of me with the nurses. And I'm gonna flip the camera and show out some people. Got flowers delivered to me, which is so sweet.
Whew, that makes me emotional. Yeah, so most people only stay in the hospital overnight after this surgery, but because I had a bowel resection, they had to keep me for a few extra days until your intestines start working again. They want to keep you. Those 3 days were really, really hard. The reason it's making me cry is because you'll see some future clips here in a second, but I don't respond well to pain medicine. I usually end up getting like paranoia, seeing things, hearing things. Yeah, it just was kind of traumatic because I just like wasn't prepared for any of this.
Fun fact, I have been hallucinating a little bit. So I hallucinated that the orchids were a person.
I thought that the orchids were a person. I
dog.
thought that was my dog.
Oh,
I miss him so much. I don't remember a lot of it now, but I know that I was extremely cohesive. Like, I've read things that I wrote during that time, and I'm like, how did I write that?
well, it's day 2 of recovery, and today's probably been worse than yesterday.
It was a lot worse than yesterday.
Hello.
Some medication made me feel like I was gonna pass out and I was getting a head rush. So that wasn't fun, but I think they fixed it now. And
That was
I peed
really
twice
scary.
on my own. The second time didn't hurt as bad as the first time, so that's good progress.
Yay.
Yeah, it was
For
so
breakfast,
painful
I
to
had
pee.
ice chips. For lunch, I will probably have ice chips.
Chips omelet.
And
My dad is
maybe
so sweet.
a dessert of a cough drop.
Ice chip souffle. Coming up.
Both my parents
This is really
are
annoying.
so amazing.
It's not even giving me oxygen. It just tells them if I'm not breathing enough. It's very annoying. Anyways. Even
Filters.
this filter is not going to help me much with this hair. But I just ate Jell-O and had apple juice.
Oh, I was so
It's my
happy to
first
eat real food.
food in a long time.
This clip is raw.
So the worst part about the surgery so far has been the gas that they pump into your abdomen, and it hurts so bad. I feel like I couldn't breathe for a while. and pain meds weren't really helping, so they're gonna try to get me something stronger. It hurts so bad. And also I had some tissue, some endo or scar tissue on my diaphragm and my liver. So kind of right there by your lungs too, so it's just all really painful. But Mom's been here holding my hand, taking care of me.
That was part of the surgery that was really hard, and anybody who's had surgery has experienced this, but basically, well, if you've had it in your abdomen, in order to be able to get to the organs that they need to, they have to pump you full of air so that there's kind of room in there, but they're not able to get all the air out of you before they close you up. Sorry, my dog is scratching. That air rises up in your chest, and I don't know if you've ever had gas in your chest before and it like hurts in your shoulder. And it would be like that, but like so bad that I thought I was gonna die. Like it hurt like crazy. And so honestly, that was probably the most acute pain that I was experiencing after surgery. Everything else was very sore and painful, but the pain medicine would help, and having ice there would help. There was nothing really that would help with this pain. And so the only thing I could do is just lay down and cry. It was extremely painful. And this would happen frequently after they would make me get up and walk. So I did not like walking.
Look who's checking out of the hospital. Woo-hoo.
I'm wearing my fur coat. Of course, I brought a fur coat to the hospital. Oh, this is hard to watch, this one.
Dusty, how do you feel about going home or to the Airbnb?
I did not want to leave the hospital.
I think the rain just...
I didn't want to leave because they helped me so much to the hospital, and I was kind of scared, like, if something happened, what did I do?
It's been almost a week tomorrow since my surgery. So
You can tell that I do not feel the same in this video as I did
then
before.
I started getting really anxious. I think that my pain meds, that's one of their symptoms. And then it's gotten to be like worse these days. I haven't been sleeping very well.
I was not sleeping because every time I would close my eyes, I would feel like I was coming out of my body.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
It's gonna be a good day.
It is. We got this.
I think I might have seen these several months ago. I don't remember watching them. So this is a very real, raw reaction because I've not been watching this. I've been putting it off because it made me sad. I basically laid in my bed for all 3 months following surgery because I was in so much pain, and I needed to bring down my pain medicine pretty early on because of all those bad reactions that I was having. So I was in pain really until the end of July, and now it's October because I started having muscle spasms in my pelvic floor towards the beginning of the summer. But I couldn't explain to my doctor what I was experiencing because when you have surgery anywhere, you lose a lot of ability to like figure out like fine point where you're experiencing a pain. Like it took me a long time to figure out what it felt like to need to go to the bathroom. And it took me a long time to be able to go to the bathroom. It would take me like 10 minutes just to pee. Because of all of that, so finally my doctor prescribed me a medication that's for interstitial cystitis, which is something that I have wrong with my bladder. It fixed the pelvic floor spasms, and now if it ever happens, I can immediately fix it. Like I know how to fix all of it, and so none of that holds me back from like living my life anymore. So if I wasn't in my bed, I was in the bathtub. I literally spent hours and hours and hours in the bathtub because my doctor let me get in the bath really soon after surgery, which is amazing because like my other doctor, when I had surgery on my hip, wouldn't let me take a bath for so long. And I got these bath salts that have CBD oil in them, which was literally the only thing that would help with the pelvic floor spasms until I got that prescription. Literally watched so much Netflix. So I think that's all the footage that I have. So we made it through all of that footage. Cried a little bit. Probably would have cried more if I talked more about it. Okay, I want to preface this with saying that nobody owed me anything. But there's still like very few people reached out to ask how I was doing during this time. And I had an extremely long recovery. It was probably like a 5-month intense recovery. And then the last month after that I was still in a good amount of pain. Not many people knew that because on social media I felt like I was being really negative if I just kept posting all this negative stuff that was happening. On top of that, I was trying to focus on the positive, and so for me social media was helping me to like focus on the positive things that were going on in my life. But because of that, I think a lot of people thought that things were not as bad as they were, and I think also people just, I don't know, like you just don't know until you go through something like this. It was awful. I mean, it was really awful, and I felt so alone, and honestly not a lot of people reached reached out and asked how I was doing, but I didn't want to see people because I was dealing with pain that was really personal, especially with pelvic floor stuff. It's just uncomfortable to like talk about that with people face to face. And I'm trying to get over that now, because if I make that not weird, it could help other girls feel not weird about talking about it. So like, I didn't want to see people, but I just wanted people to, I wanted to know that people cared. I wanted to know that people were concerned and that people didn't think I was just, I don't know, being lazy or just laying around doing nothing for no reason. And I shouldn't care what other people think, but at the same time, like, I just wanted to feel like cared about and thought about. And nobody owed that to me. I'm not salty at anybody, but it was still really painful at the same time. And so if you see somebody going through something like this, it doesn't even need to be endometriosis. I mean, any sort of sickness, any sort of chronic illness, just be there for them. You know, it doesn't even take a lot of effort. Literally, if you just text someone and say, hey, I'm thinking about you. You don't even have to answer this text, but I love you. I'm praying for you, or whatever. That makes a huge difference for somebody, and it really makes them feel loved in a season when they are feeling probably really alone and scared. I was afraid that I would never feel normal again, and I did. I'm here now. I feel great. I started working out again. I still deal with some pain, but it's not enough to hold me back or keep me from pursuing my dreams. I'm really excited. I guess this is a good time to make this announcement. I was just named Miss Santa Clarita USA 2019. So I'm gonna be competing for Miss California in January. Miss California USA, I should specify. And I'm so excited because I have an amazing platform that I'm so excited to share at Miss California USA. Whether I win or not, I'm excited that I'm gonna get to talk to more people about endo, because it is so important. More women suffer from endo than diabetes, and yet there's not care covered by insurance. I can't even get into it. There's so many justice issues with endometriosis, and so the more that we talk about it, the more that we bring it to light, the more that we get comfortable talking about things like our periods and pain surrounding that, the more likely we are to get sooner diagnosis, which means surgery earlier, which means it's a way less intense surgery, a way less intense recovery. That's my goal, is to help more people live a more full, amazing life, and to encourage other women with endo that you can still go for your dreams. You can still do everything that you were created for, everything that you were called for with endo. It's gonna take you taking your health into your hands, you resting when you need the rest, taking care of your body, speaking positivity of your body instead of negativity. Anyways, I don't want to preach it, y'all. I'm gonna do some more videos about that stuff in the future. But if you watch this video, I know it's kind of longer, but it's really, really important to me. I love you. You're amazing. You're so strong. Keep on going. Endo Sisters for life.